Hey, today we're looking at two different games, but they do have one thing in common. They look really cool on the table. Hi, I'm Ryan, and welcome to the Board Game Journey, where you'll be joining me to play 1,000 games. Today we are currently at 72 games, including today's games. It's gonna be a fun one, so let's get into it. The first game on the list is gonna be 12 Rivers. It's a pretty box. I really do enjoy this. A little fun story how I bought the game. I was at Gen Con, and the booth that was selling the game, the line was out the door. I mean, it was no way I'm buying the game. So I kind of gave up. Saw someone carrying a bag, and I just happened to mention, hey, 12 Rivers. Yeah, I'm trying to get that game. I don't think it's going to happen. He goes, you know what? The publisher has a game store not too far from here. You can just walk to it. So I was like, really? So sure enough, went straight there. Boom. And there's a whole bunch of 12 Rivers just sitting on the shelf. I was the only one in the store at that time. Bought it, and it was like the most chill thing ever. And the people at the store were super nice. So I definitely would recommend stopping by there if you happen to be in Indianapolis. So yeah, let's just break down 12 Rivers and let's just kind of look how it looks on the table and go from there. So admittedly, I didn't know much about the game. I knew there were some marbles coming down a chute. I thought it was like more random, where it's just like a pool of marbles and you let the chute go and they just come flying down randomly and you can't really predict where they're gonna go. But that is not the case. There's more controlled, and which is probably good for the gameplay, because then you have more control and it's not just complete randomness. So, so with this, each marble has like a starting gate, if you will. Like, imagine a bunch of horse stalls. There's a bunch of marble stalls or pearl stalls here. It sort of reminded me of like a gamer's potion explosion, because in the potion explosion, you have the potions and you have empty spots for the marbles. And this is similar. You are gathering these villagers. And each of them has like a requirement to fill it in. This one wants like 2 green, a purple, and a white. So if I can get, there's a green one there, a purple one here. So if I can get the other 2, this will be complete. And then I can kind of score the little objective at the bottom, which we'll get into in a second. That is a high level summary. You're gathering different marbles, and they have different values here. Like the whites are worth 5, the purples are 4, the pinks are 3, 2, 1. So part of the scoring is, at the end, if you have 5 whites, you'll be 5 times 5, that's 25 points. And you'll do that for all your different colors you collect. And on top of that, you'll also score 3 points for each villager you fill in completely. And then for each villager you do fill in, they have their own special scoring criteria. For instance, this one just is pretty simple. If you happen to fill in all 5 spots, you get 5 points. And some have this one says if you fill this one in, for every purple pearl that you use across all your villagers, you'll score 2 points for each purple. And they all have different things, like different kind of score criteria. So it depends on what you're doing. So the main gameplay is placing these tribe tokens, they're kind of like little dams, on the board. And that's basically lets you get a pearl and add it to your alpaca. Right now, the turn order is just set at the beginning. We're alternating, so you're just alternate with all the players at the table. But this is the first interesting thing about the game, because this will constantly change. So depending on your placement on the board, will determine your turn order for the next round. And you just play 5 rounds. There's also cards, which we'll cover in a second. But essentially, these tribe tokens, they slot into these little slots here. And if you're down low, you get benefits. Like in this case, if I go here, I can draw another card. If I go here, it doesn't cost me anything, but I'll get all the marbles that make it to the end of the river. There's only 1 slot here, so it could be a good space. If not a lot of things are taken here, this could be a good space to get a lot of free stuff. Typically the lower stuff, but still free stuff. And if I go to the very, very top, now I'm only have 1 choice, but maybe I really need that green one for whatever reason. So I want to pay 3. Now, payment is cards. You start off with 6 cards, I'm sorry. And if I pay 3 cards, you just discard them, I can go there. Now, cards also have powers, so there's that balance between, do I use the cards for the powers? Do I use it for, to go higher up? And there's also ways to get more cards throughout the game, so it's something to consider when you're playing the game. So that's a pretty high level summary of the game. I won't go into all the excruciating details, but it's fun. It's a fun game. There's a few more things I just left out, because if you play the game, you like it. So far, I only play with 2 players. I'm really curious to see how this game plays at 3 or 4. I assume it would shine at 3. 4, I never know. 4 is always at 3 I find is usually the ideal player count. 4 sometimes, depending on the game. Next game on the list is Positano. Now my game's a little bit below it because I squeezed in the expansion into here. It almost fits. Just you can tell it's just a little bit of live lift going on, but I'm okay with it because I don't have to carry 2 boxes. You can get it all with a tiny bit. It's a little bit of live lift, you know, so I'm okay with it. Positano, like 12 Rivers, it definitely caught my attention. I saw on the table and I was like, that looks cool. I see all these buildings on a hillside, and you know, at the time I just played Cities and Sunrise Lane and Tower Up, so I was kind of in that city building mindset. So I said, this looks different, I'll check it out. And you know, games like this, I'm always hoping that they're gonna play in a way that is very attainable for my in-laws. And look at this stuff, this went really well when we played together. So let's just break down Positano and just show you, you know, kind of how it works. So as you can see, it has a table appeal to it. It catches people's attention. They see this, they want to know what you're playing. And I bought the expansion for the game that allows 5 and 6 players. So when you have the expanded board with everyone's buildings, it's definitely super interesting. People want to go, what is that? What is that? What game is that? At its heart, it is an auction game. Everyone has 7 of these auction cards. Now what's kind of unique about these, instead of just being one value, each card is going to have 3 different values. Because when you put a card down, in this case, this is a 60 for the building tile, a 50 for how many blocks you can get, and a 10 for the type of roof and building that you can do. And there are different combinations. This, for instance, this one might be, this one's 60, 50, 10. This is like the complete opposite. This is like 10, 60, 50. Somewhere right down the middle, 40, 40, 40. And these are auction cards. And you're trying to basically bid for these tiles. We'll get into what they are. And then the other side is, these are like enhancers, adders. So if I play, say, my 60, 50, 10 card plus, my 5 adder, then everything gets plus 5. So instead of 60, it's 65. Or if I play my 22 adder, now it's going to be 82. So it's a way to, like, if you really want something or not, you can like add or not add. So on your turn, you're going to always place down 1 bid card and 1 adder card face down, and then you flip to show like who won, essentially. So if I was to build this right here, I'll just say this is my bid card, and say I won the first 2 and I'm second on this one, for instance. So if I won this one, for me, I want to build on 4B. Because this basically, these blocks tell you where you can build in the board. So they're labeled like 1A to 1D to 4A to 4D and everything in between. So if I got 4B, I can build here when it's time to build. So and then the other team, the other players will take the other tiles, right? And they'll build with those. And then it comes down to how many blocks. Now, if I say I really wanted to get this 4 blocks. So I played my bid so that I think I can win. And I did win. I won it so I could go first. So that way, we start with 1 block, but now I can get 4 more blocks available to me that I can use on this turn or on another turn. And then they would obviously take their tiles based on the turn order. And then last, we'll say, I don't know, this basically, maybe I won the second one on this one. So the goal at the end is to have buildings built that you have a view of the sea without other buildings in front of you. You want to have the best view. And depending on what roof you have on top is how many points you're going to score. So it goes bronze, silver, gold. Bronze will give you 1 point for each building unit above somebody else. Silver will give you 2 points each, and then gold will give you 3 points each. At the end, we'll show like some simulation scoring. All right, let's just do a quick simulation. And here is a quick scenario. Now, there'll be more buildings at the end of the game, but this will give you just like understanding of how the scoring works. So you would look at the front, and then whatever has an unblocked view of the sea would score points in this case. I guess in this case, these blocks would be gone, and there's the beautiful sea right here. So like, these in the front, nothing's blocking it, right? So they would just score the points. And this is only 1 tall, and it would score 1 point because it's just bronze. So that's 1 point for green. Pink, was able to build above regulation with a 2. So it'll be 2 times 2 is 4. Now where it gets interesting is like maybe these guys are blocking each other, right? So this first one, instead of scoring all 4 green, that he can only score 3 because, you know, blue is blocking the first floor and only these 3 would score, in this case, 3 points each, 9 points. And then blue, you know, had a nice 4 tall. It would have been 4 times 2. It would have been 8 points right there. But, you know, it blocked the first 3 floors. So it's only going to score the top 1, which is 2 points in this case. So I would say Positano is a keeper right now. It passed the mother-in-law test. She was admittedly a little confused with the bidding at first, but then everything kind of smooth. After like a couple rounds, it became easy. And I played it with my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, and they all played it fine. So, and it's nice to have a game like this that plays, you know, there's a diverse player count from like, you know, 2 to 6. Now, admittedly, 2 is my favorite at this game. This game probably shines, you know, 3, 4, 5 in that range. I haven't tried it at 6. I assume it'll be fine. I just don't know. Until I try it, I just don't know. Okay, so hey, which game would you play? If you had to pick 12 Rivers or Positano, you know, leave in the comments, which game would you pick? And why? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't like either game. Tell me why you don't like either game. Especially if you played it, what were your thoughts? I'm just curious. Or actually, you know, if you never played it, which one are you drawn to? You know, which one had the cooler table presence for you? Like, maybe we'll have a little fight in the comments. Okay, I mean, for me, if I had to pick coolest table presence, I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, Positano definitely does get the eye. The stack might edge out 12 Rivers just because of that reason. Although the 12 Rivers is so pretty, and I don't know, it's very close. But maybe I'll say Positano edges out. What do you guys think? But hey, until next time, you know, hit subscribe. You know, go ahead and hit like, all that good stuff. These videos are fun to make, and I hope you guys are enjoying them. So, you know, just leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Until then, or until the next one? Yeah, until the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.